Hello students, this is the first video lecture of chapter 3 Atoms and Molecules of class 9 Science. Okay, so in this video lecture I would be talking about what topics we are going to discuss in this chapter. Whole chapter I would be giving you the introduction to the topics which we are going to discuss in this chapter. Then I would be starting with the first topic. So before moving down to the first topic, let us look into the topics which we are going to study in this chapter. As I have enlisted here, you can see, in atoms and molecules, after, hearing the term atoms and molecules, you feel like that this chapter is, okay, we would be studying because, atoms and molecules, we are studying right from class 7th about this. The chemical formulas, the symbols of elements, all we have discussed. We have some basic knowledge about atoms and molecules. This is okay. But why we are studying here right now once again? Because here there is no use of making you study the same thing which you have studied in junior classes. There might be reason which they have placed this chapter again in this standard because they have inserted some new and a very different knowledge regarding atoms and molecules, a very different perspective and very interesting. Okay, so we would be moving down step by step since this chapter is not too much, but we can say is a lengthy chapter. But if you have dedication to complete this chapter and if you are interested, you have to be interested in this. You are, I know. Okay, so we would be discussing about this, trying to finish it off in a summary way so that you can get a basic knowledge regarding this, and while reading the chapter from book it would make you easy and make you interesting. Yes, I have understood this. If you have understood, if you have gone through my video lectures and then again if you read the chapter from textbook, I guess it would be easy for you to tackle these kinds of problems. Okay, now not wasting much time, I would be coming down to the topics which I have enlisted here. So if you observe here, first topic which we are going to study is history regarding atoms and molecules, which we have missed in class 7th. Okay, so history regarding atoms and molecules, what does it says? Okay, from where the discovery of atoms and molecules went off, and who discovered it, in which year, what were the perspective regarding atoms and molecules, all those things would be covered in this topic. Next, we would be moving down to laws of chemical combination. There are two laws of chemical combination. One is law of conservation of mass and another one is law of constant proportion. So we would be observing these laws step by step with solving some questions regarding this. If the law says this, how does it follows? By looking into few examples and questions, we would be getting these two laws. Then we would be moving down to Dalton's atomic theory. What we would be discussing about the postulates given by Dalton regarding this atomic theory. Then we would be talking about limitations regarding this atomic theory. Then we move down to finally what is an atom. Okay, so that topic we would be discussing the symbols of atoms of different elements that we would be discussing. Then atomic mass of each element, the atom of each element, what would be the atomic mass, that we would be discussing, and I would be trying to make you learn in the video lecture itself. Okay, then after atoms we would be discussing about molecules. Molecules of elements, molecules of compounds, we would be looking into the examples. Okay, then what are ions and ionic compounds, how the ion is different from atom and molecule. Okay, so that we would be discussing. Something which is having charge is referred as ions. If the atoms or molecules are having charge, then that is referred as ions. This is the simple thing, but we would be discussing in detail about ion and different ionic compounds. Next, we would be discussing about writing chemical formula. Okay, so we have already studied this in class 7th also, but we would be moving one step further, and we would be discussing about the chemical formulas of different atoms and molecules. Then lastly, this topic, since it is placed last, this is not of least importance, but it is of most important. ठीक है, since molecular mass is तो ठीक है, because we would be learning atomic mass, so we would be also learning molecular mass. Okay, and mole concept. This mole concept is very much important. Why I am emphasizing on this is, we would be studying about how to calculate molecular mass. We would be studying about how to calculate formula unit mass. What is it? Okay, that we would be discussing when we would be reaching on this topic. But in case if I talk about mole concept, this mole concept is is the concentration terms we would be discussing in this. What is this? We would be reaching to the topic. I would be making you aware of it. But this is so much important because in class 11th, if you take science, so in class 11th it is again repeating, and a whole chapter is there on mole concept. So this is very much important for right now also. Okay, for solving questions also it would be helping, and it is also important in higher classes. Okay, so this is the base. This all forms the base for this mole concept, which you are going to study in class 11th also. So this is very important. So all this, I hope I ran through very fast because we would be discussing each topic in detail. So why to waste time here and explain you this, and then again moving to each topic and then again explaining the same thing. I am making you aware that this is the length of the chapter. These topics we are going to study about study about this in this chapter. Okay, in case not wasting much time, I would be directly moving down to the first topic of this chapter, that is history of atoms and molecules. In history also there is theory content, no such need to explain each and everything, but then too also I would be here also moving with a few topics, or few scientists who gave some knowledge, some theory regarding these atoms and molecules, but I would be going it with a little speed, as there is no need to make you aware कि अच्छा ये है. By reading just you would be able to get it. Then too also I am trying to cover this topic and quickly moving to the law of chemical combination, which is very much important. Okay, so here if I talk about history of atoms and molecules. So first of all, in class 7th also, and in this in this class 9th and second chapter is matter around us pure. In that chapter also we have discussed how the flowchart takes place. We have discussed that there is something known as matter. This matter is divided into 2, then further divided into 2, then further divided into 3. I won't be discussing the names because you have already studied this. And you are all aware of it. So I would be directly, atoms and molecules are present inside matter, and we have already discussed what is matter. Matter is everything around us. Around us, whatever is present, everything, right from your chair, pen, mobile phone, curtains, table, all the things around you are obviously book or are matter. Okay, matter is everything that has mass, that takes space or volume is matter. Okay, that that has mass, occupies space and has volume. These all criteria, if a thing follows or is obeying, then it is considered as matter. So I don't think we should waste much time in understanding matter, because you are already aware. What you are not aware, or what you have not encountered the knowledge till now, I would be focusing more on it. So you have also studied about states of matter. There are 3 states of matter: solid, liquid and gas. Okay, so this is also in lower standards there was the chapter known as solid, liquid and gas. So that you have studied in detail. So moving down to the history. Okay, so this was the introduction regarding atoms and molecules. This was regarding the matter. This was regarding the matter. Okay, so if we talk about history, first Kannada philosophy. So an ancient scholar named Maharishi Kannada. Remember this name, Maharishi Kannada. ठीक है, after hearing this name obviously from India in 500 BC he postulated that, so this is important, if we go on dividing matter we shall get smaller and smaller particles. अगर एक matter को if we start dividing it we would get smaller and smaller particles of that matter. Okay, and a time will come when particles obtained cannot be divided. तो एक टाइम आएगा ना, अब ये मैटर को चलो, this is a matter, do you agree? Yes. If you go on dividing this matter again and again, one time would come when that particular particle won't be able to divide further. ठीक है? So he named these particles. These particles means which particles? Which now are not able to divide further. So he named these particles as Parmanu. And this Parmanu in day-to-day life we use or we call them as atom. We use the term atom. Okay? So Parmanu are the particles of matter which cannot be divided further. Okay, so this was Kannada philosophy. What did Kannada say, or what did Maharishi Kannada said, or postulated around 500 BC, that if we start dividing a matter, okay, into smaller particles, you would be going on divide. Okay, if you divide the matter into 2, then the 2 becomes 4, then 8, then 16, then this goes on, and the time would come when the particle of that matter won't be able to divide further. That particle which is not able to divide further is known as atom, and he named these particles as Parmanu. Next philosophy was given by Pakudama, Pakuda Katyayama. Pakuda Katyayama. So he was another Indian philosopher. After hearing the name you are able to guess. Okay. So he said that these particles normally exist in a combined form which gives us various forms of matter. So these Parmanu, they exist in a combined form and gives us various forms of matter. Like when H combines with another H and oxygen, it forms water. Okay, when this H combines with combines with oxygen and carbon, okay, it would changes, it forms different compounds. These are different compounds. ठीक है, तो the same atom combines with different atoms and forms different forms of matter. Water, sugar, glucose, methane, ethane. ठीक है, all this we would be studying about these formulas just after completing our few topics. So this was given by Pakuda Katyayama. He said that these atoms, these particles which are not able to divide, they do not exist singly. There are some, but most of them exist in a combined state. And they cannot be, there is fixed that H would only combine with oxygen. No. Okay, different combinations takes place and leads to the formation of varieties of matter. Okay, so this was given by the Pakuda Katyayama. So till now in history we studied about two Indian philosophers. Okay, one scholar and another philosopher. One scholar said that, who was the scholar? Maharishi Kannada in 500 BC said that if we go on dividing matter, okay, if we go on dividing matter, the time would come that the particle won't be able to divide further. That particle was referred as atom. And regarding these particles which were won't be able to divide further, okay, about this Pakuda Katyayama said that these particles or these atoms or this Parmanu exist in combined form. Okay, so they do not exist singly, but almost all these exist in a combined form and gives various forms of matter. Okay, there is no fixed composition, but the combination may differ. Okay, according to the surrounding and according to the temperature, pressure, all these things also matters. Okay, so now next if we talk about is Democritus theory. So Democritus, why I like this history of atoms and molecules so much, because if you observe, if you observe the names of scientists, first time, till now whatever you have studied, first time you are encountering the two Indian scientists, about them you are studying. Otherwise, we usually move down to Newton and we usually move down to Einstein, okay, for getting some knowledge. But here we are going to study about something which was given by Indian philosophers. Okay, so I hope you are aware of what is philosopher. So without introducing the English scientist, British scientist, or any other foreign scientist, our theory would get incomplete, our knowledge would get incomplete. So after this, now we would like to introduce Democritus. So the Democritus gave theory. Okay, Greek philosopher. Okay, Democritus was a Greek philosopher in 400 BC. So if you recall, Maharishi Kannada in 500 BC gave knowledge about Parmanu. So if you observe the theory given by Democritus in 400 BC, said that if we go on dividing matter, okay, if we go on dividing matter, a stage will come when particles obtained cannot be divided further. These particles were called atoms. So do you find the similarity between Democritus and the theory given by, or the philosophy given by Maharishi Kannada? Yes, only the name of particle differed. Okay, particle cannot be divided further. Maharishi Kannada named these particles Parmanu. If we talk about Democritus, then he also gave the same theory in 400 BC and referred these particles as atoms. So since Democritus was a Greek philosopher, so atom is a Greek word. Okay, atom is derived from a Greek word which is atomio, that means non-divisible. Okay, so though these philosophers, the thoughts of philosophers hold true to the present context of matter. What we study about this, what we have searched and researched about matter, the theory which were given by these scientists, about which scientists we have studied till now, Maharishi Kannada, Democritus and Pakudha Katyayama. So these three, out of these two, these three philosophers, two Indian philosophers, one Greek philosophers, said about atom, है ना? Said about atoms, and only they gave philosophy, they only gave theory. So this is true regarding the present context of matter. Matter के बारे में आज हम जो भी जानते हैं, ठीक है, through experiments we found that the theory which were given by these three philosophers were true, but they do not have any experimental proof. ठीक है, एक्सपेरिमेंटली प्रूफ नहीं किया था उन्होंने अपनी थियोरी को. सो दीज थॉट्स गेन्ड अ साइंटिफिक बेस. अब बेस साइंटिफिक बेस होना चाहिए ना इन थियोरी पे. सो दिस वाज established by an English school teacher, John Dalton. about atoms. On the basis of what? On the basis of, this Dalton's atomic theory was based on the chemical laws of combination. Chemical laws of combination किसने दिए थे? By experiment, two scientists, two French chemists, Antoine Lavoisier and Joseph Proust. Antoine Lavoisier and Joseph Proust were two French chemists. They performed experiment and gave some chemical laws of combination. Using these chemical laws of combination, John Dalton provided a scientific base to the theories which are given by those three philosophers. I hope you are with me, है ना? So these, Dalton using these laws of combination. What were these laws of chemical combinations? Were, the experimental proof to the theory. Okay, so they, these two French chemists, Joseph Proust and Antoine Lavoisier, performed some experiments and gave these chemical laws of combination. These, knowledge of chemical laws of combination were used by, Dalton to give his Dalton's atomic theory. Okay, so atoms combine to form molecules and compounds. So we are already aware about this, molecules and compounds. Now what are chemical reactions? Chemical reactions are occurring everywhere, from your body to the sun to plants. Everywhere in every living organism, chemical reaction is taking place. Okay, so what is basically chemical reaction? When two or more substances combine to form entirely a different product. Two or more substances combine to form product, that is nothing but simply a chemical reaction. So this is chemical reactions were the basis of chemical laws of combinations which were experimentally given by two French scientists, Antoine Lavoisier and Joseph Proust. Using these combinations, the John Dalton gave scientific base to the philosophies given by the three philosophers, Maharishi Kannan, Democritus, and Pakuda Katayama. Okay, so this was all regarding this. Now, we move down to, how come, what are the chemical laws of combinations given by the, these two scientists. We won't be going into detail, but, at least we would be aware about what were the two laws, in a very brief form, because these two laws were, extensively studied by these two scientists. So we do not have, so much of time to study about this, because this goes into very much detail, and to understand that also we should have such kind of knowledge. So that at that stage we have not reached till now. So we would be taking a gist of what these two scientists were trying to say through these chemical laws of combination, and how did Dalton took the help of these laws of combination to give his theory. So we would be seeing one by one. Now we would be first talking about laws of chemical combinations, or chemical laws of combinations. So now here we are going to start with laws of chemical combination, and in that first there are two laws of chemical combination. The first is on the basis of law of conservation of mass. After hearing the topic, what do you understand? That in this case there is conservation of mass. Okay, if we talk about conservation of mass, how can we prove it? Conservation of energy, like that you have studied in physics. So similarly, conservation of mass, that means mass can neither be created nor be destroyed in a chemical reaction. How come? So there was one experimental proof done by Antoine Lavoisier. He performed an experiment and he gave an experimental proof regarding the conservation of mass. Like here, if you observe, there are two, he took two conical flasks. He took one conical flask. You are able to observe two, because I am showing the two, instance at a one time. This is one conical flask where the reaction has not taken place between which two substances. So in a conical flask, he took barium chloride, and in test tube he took sodium sulfate. Okay, so in the test tube he took sodium sulfate. He inserted the test tube in the conical flask containing barium chloride in such a way that sodium sulfate is not reacting with barium chloride. So this is before reaction. So if he weighed the substances, okay, before reacting, barium chloride with sodium sulfate. If he weighed, and suppose it was X gram. Now what did he did? He allowed the thread to loosen up so that the test tube content may react with the contents present in the conical flask. That means sodium sulfate reacted with barium chloride to form sodium chloride and barium sulfate, which is a white PPT. So the reaction took place, white PPT formation occurred, and then when he weighed again this whole setup, it was Y gram. And what did he notice? He noticed that X gram was equal to Y gram. That means the weight of the content before reaction and after reaction were same. Although the contents differ. Here there is barium chloride, sodium sulfate. Here you would be getting barium sulfate and sodium chloride. So the contents are have changed, but the mass remain conserved. After reaction also the same mass is there as that was before the reaction. So therefore he also said that in a chemical reaction the total mass, this is the total mass, not a mass of single element or atom, but the total mass of products is equal to the total mass of reactants in a chemical reaction. Okay, so the products and the reactants which are taking place, taking part in chemical reaction, their mass remains same before reaction and after reaction. That means mass remain conserved. Are you getting now why this law is named as law of conservation of mass? Okay, here also if you observe the mass, you can also give this law like this, that the mass can neither be created nor be destroyed in a chemical reaction. It always remains conserved, it always remains same. Let us take another example. Suppose there is a chemical reaction. This is a chemical reaction in which there are two reactants A and B reacting with each other. In this chemical reaction there is A and B reactants reacting with each other, and they give product C plus D. So if you go to calculate the mass of A, there is some mass of A, you add the mass of A with mass of B. Okay? So you suppose get 10 gram. So when you calculate the mass of product, that is mass of C plus mass of D. So the total mass of product and reactant is same. The mass of A plus B is 10 gram. So the mass of C plus D is also 10 gram. Although mass of C is not equal to mass of A. Trying to say is the mass of reactant and product may differ, but the total mass of reactant and total mass of product in a chemical reaction would remain same. Okay? Okay. If not getting, then we would be understanding this law of conservation of mass with a numerical. Like suppose here they have given that 15.9 gram of copper sulfate and 10 gram of calcium chloride are made to react. That means these are two reactants. Copper sulfate is reacting with calcium carbonate. Okay? These two are the reactants, they are reacting with each other, were made to react with each other as a result. That means the product are copper carbonate, 13.6 gram copper carbonate was formed along with what? 12.3 gram calcium sulfate. 12.3 gram calcium sulfate. So if you observe copper sulfate, it is 15.9 gram. Reacted with calcium carbonate, which is 10 gram. Gave into the product copper carbonate is 13.6 gram. Okay. 13.6 gram copper carbonate. Okay, and 12.3 gram calcium sulfate. So you see, this is suppose this is A plus B gives C plus D kind of reaction. So here you see the mass of A is not matching with mass of C or D, or the mass of B is not matching with the mass of C or D. But when you calculate the total mass, that means mass of reactants. That means total, huh? So if you calculate, that is 15.9 gram plus 10 gram is equal to how much? 25.9 gram. And if you calculate the total mass of products, so that is 13.6 gram plus 12.3 gram, that is equal to 3 plus 6 9, 3 plus 2 5, 25.9 gram. So if you observe, the total mass of reactant is equal to total mass of product, hence law of conservation of mass is proven. Yes, law of conservation of mass is this reaction is following law of conservation of mass. Yes, obviously, because the mass of reactant is equal to the mass of products. That means total mass of reactant is equal to total mass of products. Okay, so this is you can prove by calculating and matching, and by calculating you are proving the law of conservation of mass, and hence you can say this chemical reaction provided in the question is following law of conservation of mass. So similarly, you can take another question related to this. Let us check this out. So this second question is also on the basis of law of conservation of mass. So here if you observe, they have given a chemical reaction that says that if 42 gram of sodium bicarbonate is added to 30 gram of ethanoic acid. Okay, so the reaction goes like this. The reaction goes like this. Sodium bicarbonate is reacting with ethanoic acid. Okay. 41 gram of sodium ethanoate, 9 gram of water and x gram of carbon dioxide is formed. Calculate the value of x. That means when these two react, it forms what? Sodium ethanoate water and carbon dioxide. They have also provided the masses of each reactant and product. If we see sodium bicarbonate, that is 42 gram. Ethanoic acid 30 gram. Sodium ethanoate 41 gram. Water 9 gram. Carbon dioxide they have given x gram. So we have to calculate this x gram. So you know that every chemical reaction follows law of conservation of mass. So you can say according to law of conservation of mass, total mass of reactants total mass of reactants is equal to, I guess you are saying total mass of products. Absolutely correct, है ना? Total mass of products. So how can you go like this? Can you go like this? So total mass of reactants, here I am calculating that of reactants. So what would be the reactants mass? It would be 42 gram plus 30 gram. That equals to 72 gram. What would be the total mass of products? So that is 41 gram plus 9 gram plus x gram. That is 50 gram plus x gram. We can equate these as the mass of reactants is equal to mass of products. So you can say 72 gram is equal to 50 gram plus x gram. You can also write like this: 50 gram plus x gram is equal to 72 gram. That implies, if you want to calculate x grams, the x gram is equal to 50 would shift here. Since here 50 gram is positive, when it reaches here it becomes minus 50 gram. So what you get is 12 gram. 12 gram. Is the calculation correct? If you say yes, then you check it out. Okay? Would you like to go like this? Okay, so here would be 22. So if you are attentive enough, you would have rectified this a very silly and small mistake. Okay, so just wanted to make your attention seek here, because you just have to follow the law of conservation of mass, and you have to calculate the value of carbon dioxide. Okay, the mass of carbon dioxide involved in this reaction. Okay, so this was easy. I guess you were feeling very good enough if you were able to solve. Now we move down to the questions. Some questions, first of all, regarding the theory which we have discussed till now, and then we will be directly shifting to the second law of chemical combination. So here first question is, term atom was coined by, these are MCQ based questions. Term atom was coined by A. Dalton, B. Democritus, or C. Maharishi Kannad. I guess till now you would be able to guess the answer, and the answer is Maharishi Kannad nahi hoga, because he coined the term Parmanu, which was the same thing atom, but he is the question is specifically saying term atom, and that was given by Greek philosopher Democritus. Okay, next question is, the smallest particle of a pure substance showing all its property is always an atom, is always a molecule, maybe atom or molecule. So if you are able to recall the second chapter is matter around the sphere, then you would be able to identify the correct option. Okay, so they are asking you the smallest particle of pure substance. So we have divided the pure substance into two, that is atoms and molecule. So are these both the smallest, or any one of them is smallest? So the correct answer is both. Can be atom, can be molecule. Okay? The smallest particle of a pure substance. Okay? If we talk about this question, you read this carefully and answer the correct option. So divide a piece of ice into two halves. Divide it further and keep on dividing it many times, as we divided the matter until the stage is reached where you cannot further divide it. Similarly, you have to divide the ice in such a way, you keep on dividing until the stage is reached where you cannot divide the particle of that ice further. Okay, so the smallest particle of the ice that you get by dividing, by this division, where the particle won't be divided further, that particle, that smallest particle would be referred as an atom, a crystal, or a molecule. You let me know. So if you are guessing atom, then it is not correct. Why? Because the smallest particle of the ice would be ice. Ice is what? Ice is water. Water is H2O. H2O. So this is atom or molecule? Is molecule. So the smallest particle of the ice that cannot be further divided is water only, H2O only. So that is a molecule. You cannot divide this H and O until and unless by any chemical process. Here you are going through physical process. Are you with me? They have asked you to divide. They have not asked you to change the substance. You are not changing the substance. You are not converting the ice into hydrogen gas and oxygen gas. You are only dividing the ice until it is divisible. After that you stop. The smallest particle of ice only, ice means water. The smallest particle of water, H2O, is H2O. That means molecule. Okay, so it is referred as molecule and not atom. So you do not go into the flow of that theory that Maharishi Kannan said, that the smallest particle of the matter which cannot be divided further is known as Parmanu, or the atom which was given by Democritus. But you observe the substance or the matter which you are dividing, and then you answer accordingly. I hope you are now being alert with this question. Now we talk about the next question, that is, which of the following illustrates the law of conservation of mass? You read these situations carefully, and you observe in which you can see the law of conservation of mass. We start with first, the mass of platinum wire before and after heating remains same. Since these two laws of chemical combination, in which the first we were talking about is something related to chemical reaction, Here heating, the platinum wire is not a chemical reaction. Okay, because this heating of platinum wire is involving one substance only. What is chemical reaction? Chemical reaction is involving two or more substances. Here only one substance is there, therefore you cannot consider this as chemical reaction. So this situation is eliminated. We moved on to next. 2.2 gram of propane and 8 gram of oxygen produces 10.2 gram of gaseous mixture of carbon dioxide and water vapor. So here you see, these two are the reactant and this is the product. You add these two, thus the total mass of reactants equating with the total mass of product. If you add this 8.0 plus 2.2 gram, you get 10.2 gram. And this 10.2 gram, that is the total mass of reactant, is matching with the total mass of product. That means this situation is following law of conservation of mass. Okay, let us take the third situation, in which it says 2.8 gram of carbon monoxide and 1.6 gram of oxygen gives 3 gram of carbon dioxide. You observe this carefully. So if you take the total mass of reactant, the total mass of reactant is 2.8 plus 1.6 gram. So 8 plus 6, you let me know, 8 plus 6. 4.4 gram. Thus this mass matches with the mass of product? No, obviously not. Okay, so this is not following the law of conservation of mass. So this situation is following law of conservation of mass. This option is correct. We moved on to one word questions, which says, name the scientist who gave atomic theory of matter. So we just now discussed that the three philosophers gave their philosophies. but they did not give any experimental proof. Then the English school teacher John Dalton gave scientific base to this philosophies by giving Dalton's atomic theory. He took the help of laws of chemical combination. What postulates did he give? We would be just discussing after completion of this topic, that is law of chemical combination. So here the answer would be John Dalton, who gave the atomic theory of matter. Okay. We talk about next. Name the ancient Indian philosopher who suggested that all matter is composed of small particles. Are you able to recall? You know, this answer should be quick, within fraction of seconds. So the answer is Maharishi Kannad. Okay. Next, give the name of any one law of chemical combination. Any one law of chemical combination. So you would be saying that, ma'am, you have only make a study only one law of combination till now. So you let me know the name of that. That is law of conservation of mass. So with this, we would be starting with second law of conservation. Second law of chemical combination, that is law of constant proportion. Okay, so there are two laws of chemical combination. One is law of conservation of mass and second is law of constant proportion. Okay, so you know, we would be starting with law of constant proportion. Okay. So here in this, law of constant proportion was given by Joseph Proust. There are two laws of chemical combination. First was law of conservation of mass. Second is law of constant proportion. Law of conservation of mass was given by Antony Lavoisier. So the law of constant proportion is given by Joseph Proust. As you recall, we said that the law of chemical combinations were given by two French scientists, Antony Lavoisier, that is law of conservation of mass, and Joseph Proust, that is law of constant proportion. This law of constant proportion is also known as law of definite proportion. Okay, now what does this law say? That in a chemical substance, if you are able to recall, law of conservation of mass was related to chemical reaction. In a chemical reaction, total mass of reactant is equal to total mass of product. Here, in a chemical substance, okay, that was talking about chemical reaction. This law is talking about chemical substance. Therefore, law of chemical combination. So, in a chemical substance, the elements are always present in definite proportion by mass. That means what? Joseph said that, you know, the elements present in a compound, like for example water, the mass of the elements present in this water, that means the mass of hydrogen and the mass of oxygen in this compound, that is in water, would remain constant or would remain definite. It won't be changing if we change the source. The water which is coming in your house from your tap is H2O. The same water is coming at my house also from my tap, that is H2O. The water that is present in river, the water that is present in ocean, seas, the water which is freeze in the form of ice at polar regions, all those water is having definite or constant proportion of the mass of the elements, elements which are present in the water. That means here, in case if I talk about this, mass of hydrogen is 1 gram. Mass of hydrogen is 1 gram of one atom. How many atoms are there in water? 2 atoms of hydrogen are there. Therefore, total mass in water is 2 gram. Are you with me? If mass of one atom of hydrogen is 1 gram, so that of 2 atoms, because why we are considering 2 hydrogen atoms? Because there are 2 hydrogen atoms present in water. Okay, so therefore 2 gram. If we talk about mass of oxygen, Mass of one oxygen atom is 16 gram. Do not worry, I would make you remember these masses. You focus on what I am trying to making you understand. Here is that the mass of oxygen, one atom of oxygen which is present in water is 16 gram, and the mass of two hydrogen atoms present in water is 2 gram. If we take the ratio of mass of hydrogen to mass of oxygen present in water, that would be 2 by 60, that would be 1 by 8. So always the mass of elements of water exists in the ratio of 1:8. It won't change with changing the source. कहीं से भी फिर पानी लो, फिर चाहे वो बारिश का पानी हो कि समुद्र का पानी हो, the water would have the definite ratio of mass of element from which the compound is made. Similarly, if we talk about carbon dioxide, ऐसे जितने भी है सब carbon dioxide which I am releasing from my body and which you are releasing from your body, the result of combustion, complete combustion होता है candle में. Are you able to recall class 8 combustion and flame? उसमें क्या होता था? complete combustion होता था, result in the formation of carbon dioxide, है ना. If the hydrocarbon was burned in the presence of oxygen, sufficient oxygen है, तो combustion में जो कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड निकल रहा है, जो हम हमारे बॉडी से कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड रिलीज कर रहे हैं, जो इंडस्ट्रीज कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड रिलीज कर रही है, जो व्हीकल्स कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड रिलीज कर रहे हैं, ऑल दिस कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड इज सेम CO2. ऐसा तो नहीं कि जो गाड़ी से निकल रहा है तुम उसको बोलोगे CO, जो मैं बॉडी से रिलीज कर रही हूँ उसको बोलोगे C2O. This is not the thing, na? The carbon dioxide would remain same. That means that he is saying, Joseph is trying to say that the mass of the elements. तो इसमें क्या है? कार्बन का मास होता है, mass of carbon and mass of oxygen. Okay. So what I am trying to say here is, why I have taken the example of carbon dioxide. It is not just in the case of water or carbon dioxide. Okay, it takes place in every compound which is having definite ratio of mass of the elements which are present and which are making this compound. So I hope you are with me. Okay. So what I am trying to say here is, as we have calculated in case of water, okay, mass of hydrogen, mass of oxygen, then here also mass of carbon, mass of oxygen. So you can take mass of oxygen from here. It is 16 gram. It is for one atom. There are two atoms. So 2 into mass of oxygen, that is 2 into 16, that is 32 gram. Mass of carbon is 12 gram. So if you take the ratio of these two masses, that is 12 by 32, you would get 3 by 8. So 3:8 के रेशियो में कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड एग्जिस्ट करता है, and this would remain constant, this would remain definite, therefore constant proportion or definite proportion नाम रखा गया. Chemical substance, that means we are talking about specific compounds. Okay, so I hope this law is clear to you. Okay, so let us check out a numerical related to these laws. Okay, so here it is, very simple question. It is asking that calculate the mass of carbon present in 2 ग्राम of carbon dioxide. अगर मैं तुम्हें 2 ग्राम of carbon dioxide गैस देती हूँ, तो तुम मुझे बताओ उस गैस में कितना ग्राम कार्बन है. How would you be calculating? So it is simple. It is based on unitary method and the thing which you have studied in law of definite proportion. उस दोनों का knowledge लगा के you have to calculate this question. You solve with me. Like you want to calculate the mass of carbon present in 2 gram of carbon dioxide. So see, we know that the mass of carbon and oxygen is fixed. That means the mass of carbon and oxygen is fixed. How come we just now calculate? कार्बन का क्या था 12 ग्राम, ऑक्सीजन के 2 एटम है इसलिए 2 into 16, एक एटम का 16 ग्राम है तो 2 एटम का 2 into 16 32 ग्राम है, यानी ये 12:32 रेशियो में प्रेजेंट है। इसको हम क्रॉस कैंसिल कर सकते हैं तो ये हो जाएगा 3:8, यानी कार्बन और ऑक्सीजन 3:8 रेशियो में होते, यानी मैं कह सकती हूँ कि 3 ग्राम ऑफ कार्बन प्लस 8 ग्राम ऑफ ऑक्सीजन गिव्स 11 ग्राम ऑफ कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड। तो अगर 11 ग्राम ऑफ कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड में 3 ग्राम कार्बन है, अगर 11 ग्राम ऑफ कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड में 3 ग्राम कार्बन है तो मुझे कितना 2 ग्राम ऑफ कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड में कितना कार्बन होगा? यू कैन कैलकुलेट दिस। आर यू पेइंग अटेंशन? हाउ कम आई गेट 11 ग्राम? बस ये रेशियो जो आया उसको मैंने ऐड कर दिया, जिसमें से 3 ग्राम कार्बन है, 8 ग्राम ऑक्सीजन है, which forms 11 ग्राम ऑफ कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड। क्योंकि ये तो फिक्स रहता है, फिक्स रेशियो कैसे निकाला? तो ऐसे निकाला। ओके, सो 2 ग्राम ऑफ कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड में कितना? तो 2 into 3 divided by 11, यानी 6/11 ग्राम ऑफ कार्बन is present in 2 gram of carbon dioxide. Okay, so you can convert this into point. Okay, you can convert this into point and you would get the answer as something 0.545 gram of carbon. So this calculation here doesn't matter. What I want to explain you is how to calculate, and I hope this is so easy, you would be able to. So this is how you can apply the law of chemical combination, that is the law of constant proportion. So the question which you are observing now on the board is is having the same concept of unitary method and the definite proportion wala concept. That is, here calcium carbonate, ठीक है, I have changed the compound. कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड का 2 बार एग्जांपल दिया. Now calcium compound, calcium carbonate, I have changed the compound. Here in this compound the number of constituents increased from 2 to 3. In carbon dioxide there were 2 components, carbon and oxygen. So in calcium carbonate there are 3, that is calcium, carbon, oxygen. Question says that calcium carbonate contains 40% calcium, 12% carbon and 48% oxygen by mass. So they have given by mass कितना इतना percentage, इतना present है, ये present है. अब तुम बताओ कि अगर मैं 2 ग्राम कैल्शियम कार्बोनेट देते हैं तो उसमें कितना कैल्शियम होगा, कितना कार्बन, कितना ऑक्सीजन बाय मास, ये तुम्हें कैलकुलेट करना है. सो अकॉर्डिंग टू डिफाइनाइट प्रोपोर्शन व्हाट यू कैन से कि कैल्शियम कार्बोनेट का रेशियो क्या है 40:12:48. इसको हम 2 से डिवाइड करें, सारे 2 से डिविजिबल है. 2 20s are 2 6s are 2 24s are 48. ठीक है, ऐसा मतलब तुमने 2 से डिवाइड किया. अभी और हो सकता है, हाँ 2 10s are 2 3s are 2 12s are, और हो सकता है कोई कॉमन डिविजिबल है इसका, नहीं है. ओके, सो ये हो गया इसका डिफाइनाइट रेशियो. ये है कैल्शियम कार्बोनेट का डिफाइनाइट रेशियो. तुम कह सकते हो कि 10 ग्राम प्लस 10 ग्राम ऑफ कैल्शियम, 3 ग्राम ऑफ कार्बन प्लस 12 ग्राम ऑफ ऑक्सीजन कंबाइंस टू फॉर्म कितना बनेगा 10 प्लस 3 13 प्लस 12 25 ग्राम ऑफ कैल्शियम कार्बोनेट. 25 gram of calcium carbonate is formed by combining this definite ratio वाला masses. तो मैं कह सकती हूँ मुझे क्या कैलकुलेट करना है, एक एक करके कैलकुलेट करना है कि भाई 25 ग्राम ऑफ कैल्शियम कार्बोनेट में मेरे पास 10 ग्राम ऑफ क्या है, यह है कैल्शियम, ये ऐसी रेशियो में कैल्शियम कार्बन ऑक्सीजन, तो मेरे पास 25 ग्राम ऑफ कैल्शियम कार्बोनेट में 10 ग्राम मेरे पास क्या है कैल्शियम, तो 2 ग्राम ऑफ कैल्शियम कार्बोनेट में मेरे पास कितना कैल्शियम होगा, तो 2 × 10/25 कैल्शियम होगा, ठीक है। सो 5 5 5 2 4/5, I leave it on you, you convert it into point। नेक्स्ट ऐसे ही 25 ग्राम ऑफ कैल्शियम कार्बोनेट में मेरे पास 3 ग्राम ऑफ कार्बन है, तो 2 ग्राम ऑफ कैल्शियम कार्बोनेट में 2 ग्राम ऑफ कैल्शियम कार्बोनेट में मेरे पास कितना ग्राम कार्बन होगा, तो अगेन यूनिटरी मेथड 2 × 3/25 6/25, ठीक है, ऑफ कार्बन इज प्रेजेंट इन 2 ग्राम ऑफ कैल्शियम कार्बोनेट। अगेन ठीक है, सिमिलरली 25 ग्राम ऑफ कैल्शियम कार्बोनेट कंटेन्स 12 ग्राम ऑफ ऑक्सीजन, तो 2 ग्राम ऑफ कैल्शियम कार्बोनेट में कितना होगा, तो 2 × 12/25 ग्राम ऑफ ऑक्सीजन इज प्रेजेंट इन 2 ग्राम ऑफ कैल्शियम कार्बन। तो सेम ही है, जैसे कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड का किया ऐसा ही ये था। So this is how you have to calculate by first identifying the definite proportion ratio. Using this ratio you can calculate this. ये समझ आया 25 ग्राम कैसे आया, 25 ग्राम कैसे आया, मैंने ये सारे को ऐड कर दिया, ठीक है। So this is all about the laws of chemical combination. In the next lecture we would be starting with Dalton's atomic theory, ठीक है, in which we would be discussing postulates, what were the postulates based on, they were based on these chemical combination only. So if you are not thorough with these combination, these laws, you won't be able to understand the Dalton's atomic theory. Okay, so I hope you are clear with these laws, and in the next class we would be continuing with Dalton's atomic theory.